Hi, so when you're completing this expressions review, when you look at the first section here, just make sure that you are, the first one is asking you how many terms. So you're just counting and writing a number, but then for B, C, and D, you're going to circle the like terms, circle the coefficient, circle the constant. So for example, let's say I'm doing letter D here, I'll do the last one. So if I'm going to circle the constant, well, although there are a bunch of numbers in here, the only constant is 9 because it's not with a letter. So I would circle 9. So that's what you're doing for the first one. You're just reviewing vocabulary. For the second question, so for like 2, 3, and 4, we're simplifying expressions. So that just means that you're combining like terms and you're getting rid of all the parentheses. So for example, if I'm doing number 3, before I can add 5x to x, I need to get rid of these parentheses. So I'm going to distribute 3 times x and 3 times negative 5. So I would have 3x, sorry for my bad handwriting, plus negative 15, because minus 5 is really a negative 5, so plus negative 15, plus 5x, plus 18. It's really bad, sorry. And then I can combine like terms. So I can combine my x's together and I would get 8x. And then when I combine negative 15 and positive 18, that's actually 3 because a negative and positive I would subtract, so I would get 3. So I would get 8x plus 3. So that's how you simplify these expressions. For number 4, you are actually you realize you're subtracting these two expressions. So just remember that when there's an invisible 1 here, and when I'm multiplying this by the invisible 1, this is actually a negative 1. So when I multiply everything here by 1, I would get 7x plus 14. But in the other expression, I'm multiplying by negative 1. So negative 1 times 2x and negative 1 times 3. So I have plus negative 2x, because I multiply by a negative 1, plus negative 3, which is the same thing as minus 2x or minus 3. And then when I combine like terms and I get my x's together, I have 5x, because 7 minus 2 is 5. And then I have 14 plus negative 3, so that's 11. So 7x plus 14, if I think about it, if I'm subtracting 2x and 3 from 7x and 14, 7x minus 2x is 5x. 14 minus 3 is 11. So that's really all I did. I subtracted them. You can skip number 5 because we haven't done that yet if you're doing that today. But if you are doing this after Tuesday, you can try it. So for number 6, 7, 10, and 11, you're actually writing expressions and then simplifying them. So I will show you number 6 to start, and then you kind of can get from that. A company makes deliveries for online orders. The shipment is weighed before the delivery. So each box, each box weighs 35 pounds, and each envelope weighs 3.5 pounds. So write an expression to represent the total weight of the shipment of B boxes and V envelopes. So since the box weighs 35 pounds each, I'm going to multiply 35 times the number of boxes, which is B. And since the envelopes weigh 3.5 pounds each, I'm going to multiply the number of the weight of the envelope times the number of envelopes. And then to get the total, I'm going to add them together. So there you go. I've written the expression. Part B is saying, okay, well, now that you've written that expression, now find the total weight. So we're going to substitute in 8 for the envelopes and 6 for the boxes. So 35. I'm going to spread where there's B, I'm going to multiply by 6 because 6 is the boxes. Plus, I'm going to do 3.5 times the number of envelopes, which is 8. So that would be 420 plus 28, or I could do that all at once, and we get 448 pounds. So that's what you'll be doing most likely is you're either going to write the expression, just leave it, or you might have to also evaluate it. So like number 10 is another one where you would, in part A, you're going to write an expression, and then in part B, you would evaluate it. So you would substitute in 6 in for m minutes. Whereas number 11, you just have to write it. You don't have to evaluate it because you're not going to know. So, and then, the other thing I want to tell you was, okay, and then in number 8, you are going to just use the expression they're giving you and evaluate it, which remember we learned to evaluate. One process we learned for evaluating, we were already using that actually in the previous problems, but if we're going to do it formally, we'd write RSS, so I'd rewrite the original expression neatly, unlike the way I'm writing it now, pretend like I'm writing it neatly. And then step 2 is a substitute, so I would substitute in the value that they give me for B, and then substitute in the value for C. Must have really like 3.5 that day. And then the last step would be to do the math to get your answer. So you would calculate this, and then whatever your answer is as a single number, that would be the end. So that's how you evaluate. You just substitute in the values and doing the calculation. And then the only other skill on here that we haven't discussed is just where it says expand the expression. Expand just means that you are using the distributive property. Expanding means you're multiplying. I remember there's an X in the word expand. Remember that I'm multiplying. So it means you're multiplying 9 times this first